Yo, what's happening, guys? It's GM Cody back again with another video, and it has been quite some time since I've done a video. I think most of you know it's been pretty crazy for me the last couple months with the move, and I'm still feeling the repercussions of that and the stress from that, and still haven't completely dealt with all that. I've been dealing with more bullshit related to that, which I'm not going to go into. But also just work and everything else. It's been extremely stressful and a busy time, and I haven't had time or the energy or really the want to make any videos. But things are starting to settle down a little bit, and I've had some ideas to make some more videos. Now, tonight we're going to talk about something, and you'll probably see it in the title. We're not talking about anything gaming related. We're talking about my adventures yesterday. I went to the local comic convention around here, the Gallatin Comic. Now, this convention has been going on for 4 years now in Gallatin at the Civic Center there. It is put on by Chris, who owns the Town Square Comics, my favorite comic store that's there in Gallatin, Tennessee, too. Gallatin, Tennessee is a town north of Nashville, just north of me, not too far. And this is my second year going to the convention. It's their fourth year putting it on. I've known Chris for, I don't even know, probably almost 30 years at this point. He used to own a comic shop when I was a kid and a teenager, and we spent a lot of time there in my youth hanging out at his comic store, and he still remembers me all these years later. He got out of the comic business for a while, and then he started doing like flea markets and that sort of thing, and I'd see him at those kind of things, and he still recognized me then. And quite a few years ago, number of years ago, and I can't remember how long, probably 6 or 7 years ago, he opened up a new comic store in Gallatin. It's a really cool shop. If you're ever in Gallatin, Tennessee, definitely go check out Town Square Comics. If you like old school comics and records and that sort of stuff, you won't regret it, because he has a cool store, and I tend to go in there about once a month or maybe every other week, maybe twice a month, you know. But anyways, he puts on this comic convention, him and his wife, and it's a great old school small convention, which I'm a big fan of small conventions. I've been to tons of conventions in my life, and what I've realized through the years is I really like the small ones a lot better. It's a lot less claustrophobic. Obviously, you have a lot less people, and you usually, if you're looking for like stuff to buy, you're usually going to get a better deal at the smaller conventions, because you're going to have local people there, other collectors unloading their collection, or smaller vendors and stuff. And you'll find some better deals on stuff. And it's just a lot more friendly and intimate of an atmosphere at these conventions. So I tend to like the smaller conventions. And like I said, I went last year, had a blast. I did not document that. This year I was going to shoot some footage, but I don't have a decent camera, and I don't have a nice phone. My phone is a cheap piece of junk, and I don't buy nice phones for obvious, well, you know, I work in construction, and phones just take a beating with me, so I don't buy nice phones. So I didn't take any footage, and also I was just kind of in the heat of the moment, shopping and enjoying the convention, that I didn't really take any pictures or footage. But I have been messing around with some new video editing, so I might be splicing in some pictures from their Facebook page, the Town Square Comics Facebook page, and the Gallatin Civic Center, where the convention actually took place. They took some pictures as well, so I might share some of their pictures so you guys can get an idea of what the convention was like. Overall, like I said, it was a pretty small convention, but Chris always seems to get a lot of really good celebrities. I don't know where he's got a lot of connections in that realm through the years of just meeting all these different people. And this year, he always has kind of a different theme every year. This year his theme was the 50th anniversary of Happy Days, and he got a bunch of the Happy Days cast, including Henry Winkler there. You know, the Fonz was there, and some of the other cast was there. One of the monkeys was there. They had the woman Samantha Newark, who played Jim, was the voice actress and singer from Jim, the cartoon series. And they also had one comic book artist there, and I think this is the first year they actually had anybody comic book related, which was awesome for us comic book fans. They had Greg Land there. And overall, as far as vendors go, it's mostly comic books, which is awesome. And the main reason I went to shop for comic books. I collect comic books. I got back into comic book collecting a few years ago. And so this is kind of a thing I do, like I said, once a month or maybe twice a month. I go out, me and my friend Chase, we go out and hunt for comic books at different shops around the area. And this is, I guess, becoming a new tradition that we go, one day on Saturday to the Gallatin Comic Convention. Now, the reason I shaved is because I actually dressed up this year because it is close to Halloween. I felt like dressing up this year. And so you can tell by my hat here, and maybe I'll put a picture up of me dressed up. I dressed as Wayne Campbell from Wayne's World, and that's the reason I shaved. And I went that way as Wayne Campbell yesterday at the convention. I tried to talk Chase into dressing up as Garth, but he wasn't able to get all the stuff in time. But either way, that was pretty fun to dress up. There weren't a lot of people that dressed up, but I felt like, it's close to Halloween. Gives me an excuse to do the Halloween thing, but also it was a convention. And I thought it'd be a fun cosplay to do. So I dressed up as Wayne Campbell from Wayne's World. So overall experiences, it was a great time. And we're going to go and look. I'm going to talk about all I did there, all the people I met, and all the stuff I picked up there at the convention. So the first thing I picked up, the first thing we did when we got there early, the doors opened at 10, and we waited in line. We got there about 40 minutes before the convention opened. Now, this year, I noticed that the line was a lot smaller than it was last year, waiting for the doors to open. And I think part of that had to do with, I think it was a smaller crowd this year. I couldn't say for sure. But also, they had VIP passes this year. So I think the VIP passes alleviated some of the waiting in line. We didn't get a VIP pass. We just got regular armbands. But they did have a VIP where you could get in like 2 hours early. So there were already people in there before we went in with the regular admission. But doors opened at 10. We got there about, 9:20, 9:30-ish. So we waited around for a little bit and just shot the shit and kind of were getting energized in the line and talking to the people in line with us. And it was definitely a much smaller line. And we kind of made a game plan of what we were going to do. And the first thing I had to do for my wife, because she's a big Jim fan and she could not come with me yesterday, was we stopped and met Samantha Newark, and I was going to get her something autographed. And usually, if you've never been to a convention, all these celebrities have stuff there that you can get autographed at the booth, and she has some really good stuff if you're a Jim fan. Now, I'm not a fan of Jim. If you are, that's cool, but my wife definitely is. She's a kid of the 80s. And she grew up watching Jim, and so this was a big deal for her. So Samantha Newark had these exclusive vinyl records that were con exclusive. She only had like 4 of these there, and I knew this would be the perfect thing because me and Raven both collect vinyl. She's a big music fan, and I got it signed for her, for Raven. Stay truly outrageous, love you, Samantha Newark. So that was pretty cool to get that for her, and I thought it was kind of cool too because it's convention exclusive, and it's I think mostly music from that she's redoing from the cartoon series, and of course it's got Jim and one of the Misfits on it, and she also gave us these little photo, they're like actual photo quality little pictures here, which is really cool, and my wife really flipped about that and really enjoyed that. And I will say she was a really, really nice lady. Her sister was there assisting her, and she spent a ton of time with, the mostly women that were there to get her autograph. She spent a ton of time with her fans, talking to people, taking pictures, and very, very nice lady. And also this year they were doing panels. I think this first year they did panels, and she actually did a panel about Jim and all that. So anyways, my wife really enjoyed that. I thought it was worth showing off. But I did buy some comic books, and this is really the reason I went personally, was to buy some comics. Now, there was a list. I had a list of comics I was after, and one of the main things I've been after is the Elvira's House of Mystery comics, the DC made in the 80s. Now, these are not expensive comics for the most part, but they're just, you just never see them. And I've been on the hunt for them for a while. I'm a huge Elvira fan, and so is my wife too. And so I was on the hunt for these, and I saw a guy there. He was selling off his private collection, and I noticed he had a lot of DC horror books. So I figured maybe he would have them. And digging through all this stuff, sure enough, I found almost the whole run. I found everything except for the first issue, and apparently he had the first issue and sold it right before I walked up. But regardless, he had the whole run there, and particularly he had one that I was really looking for, which was the Dave Stevens cover from issue number 11, the last issue, this is the one I really wanted, but I wanted all of them. And if you don't know who Dave Stevens is, he's very hot right now in the comic book world. I've always been a fan of him, though, since The Rocketeer. He was the creator and artist of the Rocketeer comics, but he did a lot of art for all kinds of different comics and different things, and he's very famous for his, art of women. he drew women really well, and so this is no exception. It's a really cool cover of Elvira riding the broomstick, and this comic actually goes for a bit of money, and I only paid $15 for it, and the rest of these I only paid $5 for. So I think I got the whole set for around $55, and it was really, really cool. So there's the Dave Stevens cover, and that was really cool to get. And then I'll show you the rest of these. That one's really cool. But yeah, I got the whole run, for a really good price. Like I said, the Dave Stevens one was $15, which was outrageous price for that one. And the rest of these I got for like $5. And I'm just missing the first issue, so I'm gonna track that one down probably on eBay or something. But yeah, these are really, really cool. And I haven't even opened these up yet and read them, but these will probably be the first ones I read. And really, this is appropriate because it is close to Halloween, so this is kind of cool to show these off around this time. But all these covers are amazing, man. And this looks like a killer series. So anyways, I got those. Another thing I got, and I got these for me and my wife again because she's a fan of this. I'm a huge fan of Vampirilla. And so I did pick up some random Vampirilla comics. Now, these are not the magazine style ones, even though I do have some of those. These are from Harris Comics in the 90s. And I found these at another vendor, and they were cheap, a couple bucks a piece. And I just picked them up for the covers alone, really. And so I got a few Vampirilla comics. And this is actually a Vampirilla flip book, which I have not opened up yet, so I'm not exactly sure. I think it's probably just straight up like artwork in this. And I also found at the same vendor a Crow comic. Not sure if this is from the original series or what. It's one of 3. It might just be, whatever, but it's definitely an old school Crow comic, and I couldn't pass that up. And I also got my wife my wife collects horror comics, and I always buy her a horror comic when I go comic hunting, and this was no exception. I found this 1974 reprint of an EC Comics Shock suspense stories, and that's really interesting cover here. Really cool. So that's the first batch that I found when I was there. The main thing I've been on the hunt for is X-Men stuff. I'm a huge X-Men fan, if you know that or not, I don't know. And for the past few years, my main collecting goal, I'm fairly selective about what comics I buy. I usually don't buy a bunch of random stuff. Occasionally I do, I bought some random stuff, but typically I'm very particular about what I buy. My main comic collecting is X-Men. I'm a huge X-Men fan. And my big collecting goal is to get the full run of the Chris Claremont X-Men. So I was on the hunt for X-Men stuff, and I definitely crossed off a lot. And unfortunately, I got so excited that I did pick up some duplicates of Uncanny X-Men, but that's fine because I got them so cheap. And I bought most of these from one vendor. I got to know these guys last year. They're out in Knoxville, Tennessee. I think they have a brick and mortar store. If not, they have an online store. They're really cool. 2 brothers from Knoxville, and I met them last year and bought a lot of stuff from them, and they remembered me this year, and we still hit it off and talked for quite a while, and they just had incredible deals going on. And you'll see prices on these, but these are not the prices I paid. I paid probably half of what is here, because they had big bundle deals, like four or five for 30 or 20 or whatever. And they had a lot of vintage X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and especially Chris Claremont that I wanted. And again, some of these are dupes I already had, but it wasn't even checking. I was just pulling stuff. I got a little too excited, but regardless, I'll show these off. So this is issue 167, which is a great cover. Minor key, I don't remember what the key significance of this one is, But great cover. I think I do already have this one, but the one I have is pretty low grade that I got out of a dollar bin. So this actually is an upgrade. 172. This is a cool one. I think this is a minor key too, talking about Wolverines. In Japan. 174. This one doesn't have any significance or anything. It's just one I needed to fill out the run. 173. Did not have this one. This has no key significance, but it is a iconic Rogue and Wolverine cover, and very cool cover there. I dig that one. 150. This is kind of a key, sort of. Doesn't have. It's a minor key, but really cool cover. It's the 150th issue. I already have a copy of this and didn't realize it, but there you are. It's still cool. 161. Again, I bought this as a duplicate, but cool. I think this talks about the origin. This is a minor key too, talking about the origin and friendship between Xavier and Magneto. 193. No key significance, just one I needed and a cool cover. And it is the, I think this is the 100th anniversary issue of the all-new X-Men, the Chris Claremont era X-Men. 197, no key significance here either, just a cool Doom cover. One of two, I believe, in the Claremont run. 218, this is just a cool cover, one I needed with a couple of the girls of the X-Men and Longshot. This one, I will take this sticky note off here. 160, which is, I got this for a screaming deal. I got this for $2. And even though this is a direct edition, this is a key. This is the first Ileana Rasputin Magic. This is one I definitely was on the hunt for, and I found this one for $2, which was great. And I think this is the UK version, which makes it even cooler. So I think that's all the X-Men books I got, and I was definitely happy with those. Again, I picked up some dupes, but some of them are in better condition than the ones I have, so it's kind of upgrades. And I got them for so cheap. I think I averaged $4 or $5 a book that I couldn't pass them up. And then I got some other random comics from Buzzard Brothers. I got some Frank Miller Daredevil. I don't have much Daredevil, but I love Frank Miller, and especially his run on Daredevil. And I saw this one. This is the Resurrection of Elektra, I believe. And I got this for a few bucks, and just awesome cover. I got a cool Batman. Always pick up random Batman comics every once in a while, because Batman was my first superhero love. That's what made me fall in love with superheroes and comics. And so I still have kind of a love with Batman. I don't actively collect it, but when I see cool Batman for cheap, I buy it. And then I got a couple weird adventure comics. I love the Spectre. He's one of my favorite DC characters. And I got some weird adventures that feature the Spectre. I also picked up from Buzzard Brothers. We got, let's see, these two. I got Nightcrawler #1, which is cool. I love Nightcrawler, and it's from his little mini series. And another Commandi, which I have been working, slowly chipping away at this run when I see him. I love, Jack Kirby's, again, one of my favorite artists. And this is a really cool Jack Kirby comic he did for DC in the 70s, and I'm a big fan of it. I think it's awesome. So, yeah, this is cool. And I also picked up, I got this for 50 cents. I have read all these. I don't think I have many of these issues, but I might start it at some point. I haven't been in a rush, but New X-Men. I think this is a key. I can't remember really, but it's New X-Men 127. Don't even remember who this character is. He's one of the new characters. This is the Grant Morrison run of X-Men, which I do like. Some people don't. But there you have it. And yeah, I think that's pretty much was my haul from yesterday at the Gallatin Comic Con. We did also meet Greg Land yesterday. I didn't get anything signed by him. Greg Land is a comic artist mostly for Marvel. Pretty sure he exclusively for Marvel, pretty much. My friend Chase got a bunch of stuff signed by Greg, and him and his wife were very nice, very personal people, very down to earth, and it was really cool to meet him. The coolest part of that was looking through all his original art, and so I just spent a while just kind of thumbing through all his original art pages he had there. It was way out of my price range, but it was still cool to look through that stuff and talk to him. And Chase got a few things signed. I actually do have some Greg Land covers and stuff, but I didn't even realize I had them, to be honest. But it was cool meeting him regardless. and cool to get stuff signed. They had the Tennessee Ghostbusters there, which was cool. They had their car out front. They had their proton packs and all that stuff, and they were walking around. They had a life-size Slimer and all that good stuff. And they had a lot more like trinket sellers, I guess you could say. A lot of people just selling knickknacks and stuff like that, and more. But there was still plenty of comics there, and if you were looking for, there were some major comics there, like, you know, stuff that's way out of my price range. I go for the much cheaper stuff, mid-range stuff maybe, but there was some really expensive books there if you're looking for that. But overall, it was a good con. I had a lot of fun, and it was definitely great to get out and do something fun again, especially after all the stress of the past few months and not being able to get out and go comic hunting or go, you know, just go have some fun. So that was a blast. And that pretty much wraps up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at the haul I got from the Gallatin Comic Con yesterday. Let me know what you did this weekend. Let me know what you're going to dress up as for Halloween. And hopefully we'll get back to doing these videos at least once a month. Until then, y'all take care. Peace.